2 weeks ago, an overflow crowd filled the city council chambers in Ames, Iowa, where ISU is located.
Iowa State University must answer questions relevant to AgriSol.
More than 100 people showed up to start a discussion that, by all indications, Iowa State University doesn't want to have.
I know we can't be a judge and jury here, but on its face, it seems like Bruce Rastetter ought to resign.
The event was called After AgriSol, and it was put together by 2 local groups affiliated with the Occupy Wall Street movement. The panel included some prominent figures in Iowa Democratic politics, including 2 former state representatives and a previous candidate for Secretary of Agriculture.
We're getting to the point where we've got the whole institution being leveraged to do private work.
To the people in this room, the AgriSol story isn't an isolated incident. As they see it, it's just the latest example of how private money too often sets the agenda at public universities.
We pay our taxes so professors and students can examine ideas to their fullest and report to our society what they think, not what Rastetter or Terry Branstad or the CEO of Monsanto or Pioneer think.
Officials from Iowa State University declined an invitation to participate in the panel, nor would they talk to us for this story. But the organizers of the After AgriSol teach-in hope to keep a spotlight on the issue, even if the university's official position is that there's nothing left to say.
People are not satisfied with that response and are concerned about how we are going forward, in the wake of this.
Angie Carter is a graduate student in sustainable agriculture at Iowa State University and one of the organizers of the event with a group called Occupy ISU.
We know that there was a partnership and that it is over. And that's what has been shared publicly about this. But we don't know how there was a partnership or really why. It's the why and the how that are going to shape the future partnerships that Iowa State has with corporations.
Carter has deep roots here in Iowa. She's the 4th generation in her family to attend Iowa State University, so it's no surprise that she feels a personal stake in the institution's future. And Carter is far from the only one. Almost everyone in the audience attended Iowa State, or their children did. Ames is a small community, and the university is at the heart of it.
I love Iowa State University. I've spent my life here.
Steve Vasey is another one of the Occupy organizers, and he's worked at Iowa State for more than 3 decades, currently as a manager in the chemistry department.
The more we looked into this, the more something just didn't smell right. Clearly, I don't believe that the Board of Regents members should be involved in partnering their businesses with the university.
But it doesn't stop with the conflict of interest. There are other unanswered questions about Iowa State's work with AgriSol. First, there's the issue of the refugees. Iowa State has repeatedly denied any involvement with that part of the project. In a statement posted on the university's website, Dean Winterstein wrote, "At no time were we asked to develop educational programs in areas of Tanzania where refugees were living." But if that's true, why is Iowa State's involvement spelled out in black and white? This is a memorandum of understanding between AgriSol and government officials in the Tanzanian district of Mpanda, the place where the refugee settlements are located. The first few paragraphs of the agreement concern the refugees, including a section requiring the resettlement and removal of all former refugees before a final contract can take effect. A few pages later, it specifies that Iowa State University and AgriSol will develop a comprehensive agricultural extension program in the area. Is it possible that Iowa State didn't know it was part of the agreement? Perhaps. But just 1 month before the document was signed, a delegation of Tanzanian officials from the same district visited Iowa State University. That's according to a timeline provided to us by AgriSol itself.
It was my first time to visit America.
When our reporting team was in Tanzania last summer, we interviewed one of the government officials who was on that trip.
We had an afternoon session where we visited the Iowa State universities to see all the functions happening in the university. We could see different operations in the soil department, seed technology departments, extension services department.
The official told us that the Iowa trip convinced them to sign on with AgriSol.
It was really encouraging, and that's why we were very positive to recommend to the government that these investors are serious investors, and they should be, by all means, we cannot afford to miss this opportunity.
And that raises another important question. How much did Iowa State University help AgriSol in sealing the deal with Tanzanian officials?
There is this perception that ISU's involvement is a means to sell the project.
Steve Vasey is also bothered by how the university has responded to the controversy, and it goes beyond the official silence on the issue. He said Iowa State doesn't seem to want anyone talking about it.
There is the perception that it's difficult for students and staff to talk about this issue on campus, that there is a pushback to some extent.
It was obvious during our reporting that something has had a chilling effect on the discussion at Iowa State. One student organizer backed out of an interview with us at the last minute, afraid that going on camera about AgriSol could negatively impact their fellowship. Another student told us that her academic advisor had expressed concerns about the possible consequences of participating in the After AgriSol event.
Some people feel there would be personal consequences for them if they were to be on our panel or to say something publicly about this.
Angie Carter told us that faculty members actively discouraged her and other students from bringing up AgriSol at a student association meeting.
The sense has been at Iowa State that this is really too sensitive to talk about publicly, and I don't know how true that is or if it's just everyone responding to these rumors, but there's this culture around this topic that people aren't talking about it publicly. But many of us are really proud about Iowa State's work and reputation and want to preserve that, and so that is why we're asking questions to make the university better, to ensure that we're all proud to have a degree from Iowa State.